versus effOrt. The second set will be played on Naro Station. Spawning up in the top right-hand position, the orange Zerg from Evil Genius's Team Liquid. His name is Jaedong, nicknamed the Tyrant.
His opponent, nicknamed the Hawkeye, the Phoenix.
The Messiah.
The Messiah. I forgot that for 1 second, but he already has 1 kill for today, going for the second kill. His name is effOrt, playing for CJ into spawning as a blue Zerg on the left bottom position. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I think we got it all. We got our corners covered, quite literally.
Of course, Snoot did come out to Korea to play, to practice in the EGTL house, and on this paper, he is on the roster, so if EGTL wants to send him out, they could do so anytime that they want to.
That's true. He's actually been doing pretty well in Heart of the Storm as well. I remember that I think in the beta, or right when the game was released, he was looking a little bit shaky, but much more recently, he's been doing pretty solid. So it would be really nice to see him go out and play for EGTL.
Definitely, but you know, this matchup right now is Jaedong versus effOrt, and let's talk about these two players a little bit more. Jaedong, he's 7-3 against effOrt, and just looking at the ZvZ data for these two players, Jaedong in Starcraft 2, he is 7-3 in ZvZ, while effOrt is only 8-7. But do remember, the 7-3 record between these two players was all back from Brood War. They haven't played each other in Starcraft 2 in Pro League. Now, here's a really interesting fact. Flash, 249 wins. Jaedong, 249. Who's going to get the 250 first?
Interesting. Not as a big milestone as 100 or 200, but halfway to 300. I mean, can't really complain about that one there.
Jaedong is only 1 win ahead, and if he doesn't win today, then KT Flash might come out again tomorrow, and he's going to lose a chance to go for the 250 ahead of Flash. So Jaedong, this is a fantastic chance for him to get the 250 wins.
That's true.
Not too sure if he knows about the record, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an obscure record there. That
Playing around with numbers.
So. Yeah, I know you love numbers, man. You're a math whiz, so that's understandable. But looking at the progression of the builds here, we did see a pool first from effOrt, while we saw a little bit of a greedier opening from Jaedong here. Just went for the hatch, got the gas in the pool. So, you know, the build order is slightly different, but no one's going to be punished early on for what they decided to go for.
Definitely. And, well, let's just restate the question of the day, shall we?
All right. I can't really read it, so you're going to have to go for it.
Well, do you want me to read it in Korean or English?
You don't have to ask me about that, man. I think you need to ask the viewers. They're going to be like, say it in English or they won't understand it.
프로리그 결승전에서, in the Pro League Finals, who was the first player to win in the ace match?
I don't know. Like, I actually don't know that answer because I didn't watch like I think the first 2 seasons or 3 seasons of Pro League.
It goes
all the way back. Like, to 2004 or 5. I remember Sky Pro League was like back in the day.
Yeah, and I do believe it happened back in Sky Pro League. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but you know, it's kind of hard. Both players going for the bailing nest right now with the speed coming up, and like you said, both players cannot really attack and punish their opponent for going for similar builds.
So it's just going to more of a standard or early to mid game scenario here.
So now the next step in ZvZ is who's gonna make the Zerglings and who's gonna play defensive. Well, Jaedong sneaks in a Zergling, really sneaky Zergling inside the main base, scouts bailing timing, and also scouts what his opponent is going for.
So he sees that his opponent's continuing to just be that Zergling wanted to kind of attack the queens there, then realized though I'm surrounded, I'm gonna die here.
Just headbutted into one of the queens and they're like, well, you're dead.
Pretty much. Like that's what you get, man. If you're a lonely Zergling and you get into enemy Zerg territory, you try to headbutt a queen, you'll die. So don't do that.
Interestingly enough, effOrt is actually behind in the drone count right now. 32 drones to 26 drones, and it seems like effOrt is going to be the one who's making a lot more Zerglings right now.
Based on what I'm seeing, we're seeing a 3rd gas go down from Jaedong here. we could potentially see some roach aggression come from him at some point in the game. The Zergling's going to get into the main, though. And actually, one of those extractors, not... Okay, now it's being mined from. Yeah, that is being spotted, so that banding will get taken out here. The Zergling's being annoying, but nothing else. They're getting a little bit of scouting information off, though.
They get the scouting information off, even at the natural end, and getting a few drones here. So Jaedong not just paying attention as the natural over here, loses a couple of drones and allows effOrt to actually catch up in the drone count.
Yeah, effOrt now slightly ahead of his opponent, killing 3 drones there. Actually, that's a pretty good trade for effOrt there, I want to say.
I mean, if Jaedong goes for the counterattack, he's already safe with the Spine Crawler at the natural. He's going to morph in Banelings, and even if he has less Zerglings, you know, doesn't really matter at this point. The lair does start earlier for Jaedong, but the small drone loss that he had over there, that is a loss that he shouldn't have taken, but effOrt just had a nice control, I have to say.
effOrt continuing to get Zerglings into the base of his opponent here. Scout on the layer timing there, it's almost complete, but if we look at effOrt's layer timing as well, not really too far behind his opponent Jaedong's. Things still looking very even from both sides here. Similar drone counts, similar layer timings, a little differences here and there. Nothing that is too over the top, though.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the gas, well, even if you look at the gas right now, then, well, I don't see the production tab, I see the buildings tab.
We do have a little bit more for effOrt.
We do have a little bit more for effOrt, but that's only because Jaedong went for the Spire. That's what I wanted to double check on.
Oh, look at this here. effOrt going for that third base, being pretty bold here. We've seen Zergs that try to take a faster third against Jaedong, and it just doesn't work out for them. Jaedong's able to generally deny that expansion. He's making a lot more Zerglings now from both sides. Jaedong also going for his Spire. Do we have a Spire on the way from effOrt, though?
I don't see any Spire being made right now. That's what I'm curious about, because effOrt, while taking out their base, he should get a Spire right now, but I think that was a little mistake.
Oh, nice Banelink connections there from Jaedong. I think he's going to force a cancel on this hatchery here. He's bringing in more Zerglings, and he's going to kill off some Banelings. Jaedong, as long as his control is good, oh, so close there. Continuing with good micro here, really just doing a lot of damage. effOrt, he's forced to make a lot more units than he wants to at this point. Looks like he will just barely defend this, but hold that thought. We have more Zerglings on the way here. The Banelings for effOrt right now almost reaching a 0 right now. He's got 2 more in this location, and they will end off maybe killing a few more Zerglings here. Doing decent trades, though. Actually, that was a good Baneling connection. Then the hatchery barely surviving here.
And we don't see any more Zerglings coming out, but that's 11 Mutas and effOrt. He's going to have the Spire done in time, but he's going to take some economic damage before his own Muta's going to come out. But it's still okay for effOrt because he still has 1100 gas, which means that he's going to be able to match the Muta count of his opponent as soon as the Spire finishes.
He's a little bit behind on the attack upgrade. If Jaedong goes straight for his opponent's third base, he should be able to go ahead and snipe it off before his opponent's Mutas finish here. Is that what he's going to try to do here? He can use his Zerglings and Banelings to defend his third base. effOrt, he has to buy as much time as possible. Jaedong moving across the map now with a lot of his units here, just looking for Overlords, though. I don't think he realizes that his opponent's Mutas have been delayed by, that much time.
And that's only because, playing with fire over there and pays for the price. Now, the reason why Jaedong couldn't go for the attack because he didn't have a constant scouting Zergling inside the main base. He couldn't sneak one in, and that's the reason why he's like, well, I don't know when the Mutas are going to come out. I mean, he went for the faster hatchery, but I already had 600 minnows, so I could have gone for that too.
So the Zerglings getting into the main base, like you mentioned there, really occupying Jaedong's time right now. The constant Zergling run-bys, that's what effOrt needs to do to get back in this game. He's still a little bit behind on supply. The drone count's looking pretty even here. Jaedong has a pretty solid Muta advantage, and now forcing effOrt back with his Muta Ball. Like I said, he's got the numbers to his advantage here, and the person who has more Mutas generally wins the Muta war.
It's funny that effOrt bought enough time to get his own Mutas out, and he almost donated it to his opponent right away. So that was a mistake that effOrt should have made, but at least he didn't suicide every single one of those Mutas.
All right, we have more potential Muta battles going on here. I have to say, though, watching Jaedong play ZvZ, it's so different from his ZVP and ZVT. It feels like it's on another level.
Yeah, well,
Jaydong making a huge
Jaydong!
mistake. I guess I may have just possibly jinxed him right now, but the muta advantage still in Jaydong's favor despite having a terrible trade in the beginning there. The +1 armor has completed for him, and now the muta advantage completely going into Jaydong's favor. effOrt losing almost all of his mutas right now. He's going to have such a hard time defending his third base behind this attack here. He's just going to have to give that up. And with losing this third base, Jaydong will secure an even larger advantage in this game.
That was a little mistake by Jaydong, but also intentional because remember, effOrt, he started his +1 carapace later because his Spire did start later, and all Jaydong has to do is snipe the hatchery.
Getting that hatchery down, just securing an even larger lead in this game. The Zergling suiciding in there, but not the biggest deal right now. Jaydong going for that +1 attack here. Is still ahead in the muta count, 16-9. I think Jaydong's just going to go for the kill right now. He can snipe up a few overlords here and there, but he is so far ahead in supply, 126-96. Both players have +1 armor right now, but like I mentioned, the number of mutas is everything in this matchup when it comes to muta wars.
18 and 14, the upgrades are same for both of the players, but look at this effOrt trying to come back into the game. Really nice circling run-bys. This is something that effOrt is known for, but can he defend against the mutas of Jaydong's?
He has 2 queens in the mix right now. It's 19-13 mutas, so the count is still heavily in Jaydong's favor. He has a lot of Zerglings moving into the natural as well right now, sniping off those queens. Jaydong, it looks like he's going to win this game here. I can't see him losing. He's won the muta war. GG is called. Jaydong playing very, very solid.
It was a mistake for Jaydong to suicide some of his mutas into effOrt's main army, but knowing that his opponent had less mutas and knowing that his opponent didn't have the +1 carapace at the time, he just engaged the army and didn't matter if he lost few mutas. He had more, he had better upgrades, and effOrt was the one who was supposed to pull out from that engagement.
It seems like when it comes to that little timing where the Zergs start to get their third base in ZvZ, Jaydong just completely changes and distances himself from his opponent and makes it known that he's able to apply so much pressure, and he has the multitasking behind that to stay ahead in the muta count, getting the Spire, his